Get ready to move, get ready to groove. We're bringing the funk, gonna make you move. Life back system, it's time for change.
So, what are the 7 habits of a carnivore that makes it effective? So, these basic habits that Coach Lisa, has been doing literally since I was about 18 or 19 years old, these things are so efficient. I did not do them in high school. As a matter of fact, I'd never even heard of, I was brought up with habits. So, like, you get up, you brush your teeth, you show up to the table with your hair done, out of your pajamas, nothing like today's generation at all. As a matter of fact, they go to the grocery store and on planes and everything in their pajamas. That is not how I was raised. And I never will convert to that. Like, that's just not part of me. But there was later in life when I started taking self-help developmental courses. I took classes at college on psychology. And this is where you really start to learn how your brain functions and how you're going to master your mind. And that is not going to happen as a carnivore unless you do it first. Why? Carnivore is a way of eating, right? It's going to give you your nutrients, but it's not going to set your habits. You need to, what I call, untie the lies, which is a program I have in my course. If you haven't taken it, by all means, search it in my Facebook Warrior page. And from there, just go through the whiteboard or go through the old Zooms. If you don't have one and you're looking for a specific one, please reach out. I would gladly share it to you. All right, so what's the 7 basic habits of a carnivore? These are going to make carnivore effective for you at any level. Day 1, day 1,000, 10 years, 15 years, it just doesn't matter, because yes, carnivore is a way of eating. It's a lifestyle, but there's so much more to it. So the first one, I want to take a look at being productive. So what does it mean to be productive? Well, the number one reason why you started eating was probably boredom. So we are no longer living in an environment. I mean, some of us did. I did. I was on 200 acres. I had a very set routine. I had lots and lots and lots of chores to do every single day. But the problem was I was also living on the road. And so I sat for hours and hours and hours in a vehicle. And over a period of time, a short term on the ranch and a long term in the vehicle broke down to a very sick human being. I got sick because on the roads, I did not keep my basic effective habits. Whether you're a vegan, a carnivore, a ketovore, it just doesn't matter. These habits help your lifestyle. So you must change your lifestyle, get rid of the old habits, untie those lies, and create new ones in order for you to be a better person. So the first one is you must be productive, and you have to take responsibility for your decision making. Why? Why are you choosing to have, maybe carnivore ice cream is okay, but how much, right? So you made up a batch of it. Do you sit there and eat the whole entire thing? Or are you going to be proactive, take out a bowl and put the rest away and be in control of that mind and say, I'm done. I don't need more. Or what about heavy whipping cream? Seems to be one of the biggest issues that people struggle with is, why can't I have my whipping cream? It's fat. It's carnivore, it's from an animal. It's so good. Why do I have to give it up? If it is driving you to have more and more, I'm going to say this again and again and again, you most likely are addicted and you should give it up, at least for 30 days or 21 days. See if your mind can take control of the habit, right? This isn't a liking or not liking and whether it's good for you or not good for you. This is literally getting you to a point that you can say, I'm in control of this. I have a habit over it. So take responsibility, accountability. You're not making it to those Zooms. I'm going to tell you right now, you miss golden nuggets on a regular basis. There is so much information in there, not just from myself, but from your fellow warriors. They are women who are coming there and saying, hey, this is working or this isn't working, or could we talk about this? You're missing it because I give you so much information already, but believe it or not, there's so much more in there. Okay, that's number one. Number two, begin with the end in mind. So what do I mean by that? I want you to focus 100% on your long-term outcome. What do you want in life? Like, what is 80 going to look like to you? So I have a vision, a 5-year plan, and then I have another vision for a 10-year plan. And each of those visions have some circumstances that could come effective in my life. I'm always wanting to be prepared for the loss, right? So maybe the loss of a child or the loss of a spouse or the loss of a parent. I always want to have like a little nest egg that could afford me to get to the funeral. Or maybe I just want to be prepared emotionally and psychologically to not allow that to derail me, which there are people This is driving me nuts. It's sitting on my ear properly. Sorry about that distraction. There's some people who they literally are not prepared for death. And just so you know, death is part of the outcome, because at some point we're all going to go home, which is why in this program I have you write your funeral. It is critical. What does that end look like for you? So when we start to look at the end in mind, we really start to define our goals and we clear them. So we start to get clarity. And why is this part of carnivore? Because guess what? When we're carnivore, we no longer suffer from brain fog, and we start to see the bigger picture. We start to see the clarity, which helps us to remember to begin with the end. And I know that sounds crazy. As a matter of fact, as a Christian, I read the last book of the Bible long before I ever read the entire Bible, because I wanted to know the end, right? I wanted, well, what is God's bigger plan, right? Like, what is he doing with all this? Man, it is incredibly peaceful to know that if my day ended today, my world, my last time on this planet, on earth, I still did what I wanted to do in order to accomplish my end goals, right? So get the outcome in place. The next thing is always put first things first. I think this is really important. And the reason why is that we get derailed and we start to think that things are urgent and they're not, right? Like shopping. Let's just talk about that for a second. Like you see a sale and you're like, snap, I got to go get that. I got to get it. I got to get it right now. It's going to be gone. Get it before all supplies are gone. It's the catch me. You know, there's a whole documentary on this. It's the dopamine hit. It's the buzzword. It's getting after it, right? We don't want to do that. Instead, we want to always put what's first. So for example, let's say your friend calls you at the last minute. You've got a workout planned. You got your day organized. They're like, hey, do you want to go hang out at the mall and have coffee? You're going to be like, oh, I got to go. No, you don't. You do first things first. You can easily answer no with a yes. I can't go right now, but as soon as I finish my workout, as soon as I get my nourishment in, as soon as I do my morning routines, I'd love to meet you this afternoon. So remember to define urgency, I guess is really how I want to break that down for you, because it's important for you to put the most important things first, which is your health. All day long, every day. And it doesn't matter what it is. And I mean, if somebody just calls last minute and it's 7 o'clock at night and you're going to bed at 7:30 and they're like, hey, let's go catch a night flick or movie. You have the right to say, gosh, I wish you would have told me earlier. I would love to spend the evening with you, but I'm already ready for bed. I've already done my nighttime routine and I need my sleep, to be honest with you. I love being healthy. So learn how to define the urgency and what that importance means to you. The next thing, and this I have lived by for years, you guys, and I mean, every financial situation, every single business deal I've done, every corporation I've ran is win-win situation. So write that down. Win-win situations. What does that mean? It means I'm going to set up a win for me and I'm going to set up a win for you. I'm not doing win-lose and I'm not doing win-lose. When you draw a line to people and you say, I'm not going to lose anymore, they either flee, they don't hang out with you, you know, they find another nest to burrow in that they're going to use people, or they really, really like you. They're like, oh man, Coach Lisa always sets up a win-win. For example, I had, hundreds of employees at a time. I had my steady crew, which could be as low as 4 and as high as 7 or 10. But when we were on a union job and I had lots and lots of massive men's working with me, I had to set up win-win situations for everybody. Hey, you work 3 weeks on, a week off. I'll pay you for the week off. If you pull your overtime, you're going to get this, like whatever. Constant win-win. Why? Because I won as the employer and they won financially. But what about in a health situation? What about as a carnivore? What does that look like? So let's just say you're trying to make that transition, right? Maybe with a husband or with children or maybe your girlfriends. It's super easy just to say simple, like in social gatherings, I'll tell you what, this time we can go and get, to your favorite restaurant and I'm just going to hang out with you. I'm going to have a really good time sociably. But the next time we get to go to my restaurant and then I'd like to have a steak or whatever. So start setting up win-win situations with really frame it, get it really framed in there. And this is what I want for my life. This allows you to be back in control of your health. What we have surrendered literally as moms, wives, employees, employers, we surrendered our health for the betterment of what? The mighty dollar? That is ridiculous. And I did it. So I can speak from experience. Along with that, that's number 4. So always be thinking win-win situations, a mindset that everybody benefits from it. If you're a mom, a grandmother, you have custody of other children, you need to set up total win situation offsprings. And I say this like I can't even drill it home deep enough, because what's going on today is who you're creating in the future. So if you have a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, 25-year-old that you influence, you mentor to, remind them how sick you are. Ask them to take a look at your life and what you went through, and you're a testimony to say, that didn't work. Let me show you how to set up a win-win situation. So when I'm 6 feet under and you're my age, you're 3 times the woman or the person that I am. That is critical for you to do that. Okay, the next one is, and I've lived by this for years, especially with spouses and children and employees. Like, you must have, this is critical for your carnivore habit, is always listen to understand and then speak to be understood. So I listen with no judgment. So if my kids come in the door, they got drunk, whatever they, whatever it is, they come in and they're like, Mom, I really need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, let's hear what's going on. I think I lost it maybe 3 times that I can recall off the top. If you ask them, they might tell you more. But it was like situations that they really broke my boundaries, and I trusted them to not break them. And then I listened, but I also lost it, which I've gone back and apologized for. And I'm like, okay, that's not the way to be, because that's setting up win, lose. Now you've broken the relationship, you've broken the trust. I always wanted my children to be how my dad was, not my biological, but my stepdad, who I love dearly as my best friend. He would literally say, just go to bed. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Sometimes we need to do that because we need to listen and understand first. Then we can speak to be understood, because everybody needs to be heard. You need to be heard and I need to be heard. And that's in every relationship on this planet. But let's fine tune that into a carnivore. So I have people who haven't even mastered their own habits. They haven't even mastered who they are, but they're a savior and they're out trying to save everybody from the plants and vegetables, and they're trying to save everybody onto carnivore. So am I. But guess what? We have to sit back and wait. We just want to plant the seeds. Let them see your walk. I've said this for years and I'll say it again. The greatest sermons ever were not talked, they were walked. There's a huge difference in that. If you walk your talk and you are constantly listening to understand other people's issues and then speaking to be understood, you're going to have a lot more success in that. And that goes in any business relationship, any personal, any financial. First listen and then speak. You're going to do so much better. When you synergize, when you collaborate, this is also creating results and goals that benefit everybody. So let's say, for example, you have children who go, I don't want to be carnivore, or even a spouse. It's like, really, that's all you're going to eat is meat? Meat has a huge variety. Have you ever seen how much meat's on this planet and the different animals? Not to mention that if you're going to continue to eat chicken or turkey, you also have eggs. You have duck egg, ostrich eggs, you've got chicken eggs. There is a lot of quail eggs. Like, oh my gosh, there's so many different eggs that you can eat. I personally don't have them because I don't have access to them, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't do it if I had it, right? So we're going to look at a way to create results and outcomes for our entire family. Your family wants pancakes, make them carnivore pancakes. It's the white and the yolk. It's a little bit of collagen. It's a little bit of gelatin connected together, and bam, you have pancakes. Do you have to do it every day? No, but compromise and set up, synergize, collaborate, work together to make this work. I feel like as a carnivore, this is a basic habit for us, because if we don't do this, we start to build walls and we start to push people away from us. That is not our goal. We're relationships, or humans that were created for relationships, and we want to draw people in, not push them away. You will never be able to share your testimony of health if you push people away and you shove stuff down their throat. You just don't want to do that. So synergize, collaborate, get those goals together, family outcomes. We, as a ranch owner, horses and cattle and chickens and lambs and sheep, all of these things, we had to work together as a family. It was very specific. We talked about things, we compromised. Maybe I had a daughter who loved to be indoors. She literally could never wanted to go outside unless it was gardening. And she loved to be by my side. So she was always actually called my shadow. And I made provisions there, because I had another one, is most of you know, Elia, who absolutely could not stand being in the house. So I was like, okay, I'd give them inside chores, outside chores, and it was up to them to work together and decide what chores they wanted to trade, so that at the end of the day, our outcome would be that we have more free time to to be on the trampoline or, play dolls or whatever it is. It's the same for you and your spouse. If he likes to do the cooking and you love to mow the lawn, like in my house, get out and mow the lawn. I always go, man, kudos, I get some extra steps, right? So just work together, synergize, collaborate, focus on the results and the outcome of your family. This is going to make you a healthy carnivore. I'm not joking, you guys. If you take carnivore to the extreme and you cut people off, you're going to end up very lonely. And the odds are you're going to go back to eating the junk food. So let's not do that. Remember to sharpen the saw. You want to improve, renew, resolve, and rebuild and restore. Those are the 4 basic pillars. They are in your portal. So when we come together and we allow to sharpen the saw, you must get your own saw sharp first, and then you can help others sharpen the saw. As the Bible says, one shall sharpen another, right? Do that. Be the best friend to the one that's struggling. Don't just say, well, if you'd listen to me, you would be a lot better off. No, instead, encourage, edify, and uplift. This is going to be what helps carnivore survive with the basic habits. Okay, the next one, when we're talking about, collaborating and sharpening the saw and putting first things first, I think it's really important to come up with a vision and a vision board and frame that work. So inside of that frame, you can make a cross. So now you have 4 squares. Get your priorities. You have your micromanaging, your macro managing, and you are able to see the vision of the future. And the future goes back to the ending. So see the ending. What does that funeral look like? How many children? Who's going to be there? What type of finances? Did she have her life in order? That is where we start to see how to explain our vision to someone else, and then we make them a part of it. It's called sharing your mindset. So we want to share our mindset with other people in order to be the most successful that we can be at Carnivore. Okay. So now let's talk about 7, and I'm sticking with the number 7 just so everybody knows, is because this is God's number, right? So I was like 7 basic habits, and then 7 fails and 7 benefits. And these are some struggles and some benefits that I just feel like really make it simple as long as we hone in and we have this vision and we're super clear on it. Get clear yourself first before you share this with anyone else. And I would love to hear your vision. If you want to write out your 7 effective habits. How do they apply to your life? Your 7 mistakes, let us know. We all share. Part of the Warrior page is for you to come forth and share your journey. This wellness journey is together. Remember, as an iron sharpens iron, we want to sharpen each other. This allows us to become better. Your ideal might be exactly what somebody else needs to hear because they may have been lacking. And now you're sharing it, right? It's not Coach Lisa talking again. Instead, it's you talking. Okay, not enough fat. Now, this is a really, really big issue because you have been living on carbs for so long. If you rip the carbs away, your body goes into like shock. It's like, oh my God, she took my fuel source. What am I going to do? I want you to eat the fat. I need you to eat the fat. I already have clients daily going, I'm so energy depleted. I just don't have energy. I am talking directly to you. And the reason why I'm talking to you is because you should not feel that way. So the biggest mistake you could make is not getting enough fat/energy into your body, because fat is where it's at. This is what, we've been brainwashed to believe it's bad. It is so good. Eat the animal fat. The butter, get it in your body. You're going to feel amazing. And I literally have people who are like, you don't understand. Butter makes me throw up. Yes, I do understand because I was there. Now, I don't eat a lot of butter that is like a stick of butter, but I will use butter on my meats. I will, I love rendered tallow. I love any of that. Add some salt to it and I'm game. I actually probably could drink it, but I don't. But it is really good. Okay, let's talk about how fat helps your gut over carbs, and it helps your digestion and your GI tract. This is critical, you guys. I can't even begin to tell you how important. Don't make the mistake. Eat the fat. The second thing is, and this is a biggie, too much protein. All right, so Coach Lisa's up almost 15 pounds, maybe close to 20 now. And a lot of people have noticed that I have gained weight. Now, why did I gain weight? I am in the process of cycling the same as you are. I'm bringing my body up. I'm working on that muscle mass. I have to have energy to go from 10 pounds of weight up to 25 pounds of weight, which is still not that much weight. But for me, it is coming from a very sick body that hadn't worked out in years, that atrophied and wasn't up to par. Oh my word, I need the energy because my body, like your body, used to function on carbohydrates and sugar, which is what carbohydrates are. So if you take in the protein to replace inside what the liver is doing, then your protein can also store as an energy. Is it a bad thing? It's not a great thing. You do want to be really careful because we don't want that spilling over into what we call the rabbit starvation, right? So now you're taking in all the protein and it doesn't have anywhere to go. So you're not, and this really applies to you more than to me right now. Because if you're lifting 25, 40-pound dumbbells, then it applies to you as well. But if you're just using 5, 7, a water bottle, then it really doesn't apply to you because if you bring your protein up too high, you have this spillage into your system, which now has to store as an energy, but you're never expelling it. And we all know what happens there. We end up with excess fat on our body because we don't have energy renewal sources. So we have to get rid of it some way. But if you're training, you're working horses, you're on the, your body, you're at rest, metabolic rate is high. Like mine's up at 2,000 calories a day. I can afford to eat a little bit more protein. I can, and I don't even do too much, to be honest with you. I like to be right around 120 to 130 grams per day. If I go to 150 or even 180, I do start to gain weight, and I gain weight right where I gained it when I was eating carbohydrates. Like I immediately go back to the arm fat, I go back to my chest fat, I go back to my belly fat. That is an indicator. Even my thighs will get too big. Like I start to notice it immediately in my clothes. Maybe that's you. So this would be a carnivore mistake. Number 2, too much protein. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be consuming so much protein we're fatigued, right? We want to consume the fat. So as you know, my particular program cycles you. And this is really important is that you stay on the cycle. I write these menus every Friday for a reason. It's not just for fun, and it is tied into our workout. So if I say to you, up your weight this week, I'm also upping either your fat or your protein or both because you need it. Your body, you have a fuel demand. And if you don't give your vehicle what it needs, you're going to end up on the side of the road, ER. We don't want to go there. Okay, so when you're consuming protein and fat, you're going to get like egg yolks, not yolks, and you're going to have like fatty ribeyes, fatty meats, a roast. You're going to eat the fat on the outside, and we're going to have a rotation. Let's just say, as an example, it's a high protein day and a little bit lower fat. I'm not going to drop you down to where your body can't function. That is ridiculous. I don't do that. But people who carnivore by themselves, a mistake is that they don't have proper ratios. And that is individual to each person. However, overall, scientific study shows that a woman needs somewhere between 70 and 80% fat and somewhere between 30 and 20% protein, unless you are in the bodybuilding field or you're an athlete and you're constantly competing and you need a little bit more protein in order to synthesize and metabolize in your liver, which then gives your cells what it needs to grow. So stay on track, follow the program. All right. Third mistake that carnivores make on a regular basis is your electrolytes. So in the beginning, you're depleted. You've gotten rid of your carbohydrates. You've gotten rid of your box food. You've gotten rid of your frozen foods. You've just wiped all that out. If today is day 1, get rid of that stuff. You are not finishing up what's in your house. It's money that's thrown away. It has made you sick. It's time to get rid of it. So where do we go from here? You want to focus on that sodium loss. So as an example, if you've been eating crackers and chicken and a biscuit crackers and I don't even know, let's just say peanuts, and you ate healthy, but you had these super high levels of sodium that actually threw off everything in your metabolism inside your body. Now we need to adjust that, but get the healthy selenium, sodium, magnesium, potassium back in. So in the beginning, you might need an electrolyte. If you do, get a hold of me. I will let you know exactly what I feel is one of the best ones out there. And yes, I've tried quite a few of them. I can just tell you straight off, A mistake is using natural flavored or citric acid. Those are three things that are going to kind of screw up your system even worse than you already are. It can bring joint pain. It could cause loose bowels. There are many side effects that actually even antagonizes and can cause a flare up in your joint pain and your arthritis type pain. We want to heal that. So mistake number 3 is get electrolyte balance. And you're like, well, coach, I don't even know if I'm out of balance or in balance. Get some blood work done and go from there. And if you're not sure, let me tell you something. If you listen to your body has already told you over and over again, we are not in balance. You have leg cramps. You're not sleeping well. You have insomnia. You have fatigue. Your salt needs to come up. The pink Himalayan salt has 83 minerals in it that you need inside your body. We're not in the wilderness. We're not getting water from a waterfall. We are buying water that's been purified, which is not good water, even though we're still drinking it. So you might need a little bit more for the first 3, 4, 6 months. I don't know. Everybody's different. For me, it was well over a year of my first year of carnivore. I just couldn't get enough salt. And then all of a sudden one day my body was like, and I see people all the time like, I gave up salt. I quit salt. Okay, but just because they quit it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So listen to your body. It is talking to you just like when it was screaming at age 40, 45, 50, menopausal signs, fatty liver disease, and you didn't pay attention. So pay attention to this. If you have fatigue, if you have cramps, if you have headaches, these are all potentially low sodium. Bring it up. You guys know my cure for all that kind of stuff, so pay attention, follow the program. We also want to make sure we're not overhydrating. This is a huge problem. Some people are taking 180 to 200 ounces a day of water. That is ridiculous because if you were in the wilderness and you were carrying a canteen, you didn't have that much. And who knows how long it was before you found water again, especially if you were in Arizona. You might come across still water, which was really gross, and you're not going to drink it until you get to where there's water flowing in a natural resource. So pay attention, keep your water. I wouldn't go any lower than 60, but the scientific study has shown that women do really, really super good. They function at a really good hydrated level, wet mouth, wet eyes. You know, your body feels moisturized. You don't have dry skin, dry hair. It's somewhere between like 80 and 91 ounces. I have a lot of my gals up at 128 ounces when you first start because you're coming out of a very dehydrated situation. Quite frequently, you never drank water, but you drank a lot of juices, you drank a lot of coffee, a lot of tea, and now that you've taken those things away, your body is dehydrated. It's not letting the fluid go. And I know that sounds very contradictive, but your water wants to store inside of its body. Let me just give you an example. When I first started, I had a body scan done and my water level was about 32. And now my water level is 83 and I drink just a nice balance of water a day. I do not have to take in, 150 ounces a day anymore. I'm just about 80, 10 8-ounce glasses and I'm there. So focus on that because it could be a huge mistake to your success. The next one is number 4 is fear of eating organs. All right. I'll be honest with you guys. This is raw and real. I particularly do not want to eat a heart. I don't want to eat a liver. You are lucky. I am blessed that I'm even eating meat, right? Because as a vegan, chewing meat was quite disgusting to me. And I didn't find pleasure in that ever, where now I can't get enough of it, right? So I'm very thankful for the steps that I've made. And I used to eat my meat, like when I first started, as like the bottom of a pair of leather shoes. Literally, it was so. Now I'm good with a little bit of pink and definitely some red on my plate. I salt it up and I really enjoy it. This is a progress that happens over time. If somebody would have said to me day one, in order to heal your body, you're going to have to eat that red meat raw, not sure I would have done it, but to be honest with you, my pain was so great. I probably would have done it. I would have overcome it mentally and then move forward. This is where overcoming eating the organs is a huge mistake because we do need them. Thank God for companies out there that are all bovine. They're 100% third-party tested, and they're giving us New Zealand grass-fed, grass-finished liver, organ supplements, heart, kidney, and I'm able to get in what I need through a capsule. Since I was about 21 years old, I have always said, man, if I could get a meal and a pill, I would be really happy, because for me to sit down and take the time to eat was nothing I ever wanted to do. But in the animal kingdom, they do take the time to eat the fat. That's the very first thing that they want to develop.